Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is starting. Please take your seats. Sound adjutant call! On behalf of the commanding officer, Naval Reserve Officers Training Corps, University of Colorado, Colonel Matthew Zumo, we welcome our distinguished guests, family, and friends to our Spring 2026 commissioning ceremony. It is with great pride that we present the Naval Reserve Officers Training Corps graduates of the Spring 2026 class. Please note, this ceremony will be an uncovered event for all military members in the audience. Please rise for the playing of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to introduce the commanding officer, Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, University of Colorado, Colonel Matthew Zumo.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the 2026 Spring Commissioning Ceremony at the University of Colorado. We're happy to have you all today. Before I go any further, I want to acknowledge Midshipman McKiernan and all of his team who put this event together. Things like this don't just come together. And while most of the students were focused on taking finals and getting out of town as fast as they could, these guys all stuck around to plan this, prepare the venue, rehearse, and execute today. So if you could stand up and have your whole team stand up, let's give them a round of applause. I would next like to thank all of you, the families, the friends, who some of you traveled from across the country to be here today, and I appreciate that. And I know our commissionees very much appreciate that. Your support and encouragement and belief over the last 4 years has been paramount to them reaching this point here. So very fitting that you are here with us today. I appreciate you making the trip to join us today. So the commissionees, if we could give all of our family and friends a round of applause, thank them for all the support that they've given you over the last 4 years. I'd now like to introduce the Chancellor of the University of Colorado Boulder, Dr. Justin Schwartz. Dr. Schwartz joined the University of Colorado as the Chancellor in July of 2024 and is no stranger to NROTC as he frequently attends many of our events. He's a nuclear engineer by trade, has a wealth of experience in both higher education and industry, and we're honored to have him with us today. Sir.
Well, good morning, everybody. This morning marks the result of a decision that so many made years ago and have honored every day since. Today, that decision becomes the responsibility you carry forward. So thank you all for being here. To the families and friends who have traveled from across the country, thank you for making the trip to celebrate these graduates. And a special thanks to all of those in the room today who have served or continue to serve our country. You not only serve greatly, but you also provide a daily inspiration to those who are graduating today. And your collective presence reflects the support behind each of these commissionees. This ceremony marks the culmination of countless displays of commitment and determination. For most of you, that began when you chose the Naval Reserve Officers Training Corps before your first day on campus. For others of you, it began earlier, shaped by active duty service and the decision to continue leading while pursuing your degree. Some of you have carried this commitment for over a decade. However your path began, you are here today because you followed through. Over that time, you set and met a very high standard. You balanced one of the most demanding leadership programs in higher education with the expectations of your academic work, your jobs, and your multiple responsibilities beyond the classroom. Being a full-time student is hard work, but you didn't stop there. You carried the demands of our NROTC with strength and with integrity. You trained early. You probably wondered why this started so late today. You stayed late. You took on responsibility when it was asked and when it was not. And you did so with discipline and consistency, earning a combined grade point average of 3.3, which is no easy feat. You also set a tone on this campus. You were model citizens. You did not simply avoid missteps. You set an example for others. And you demonstrated accountability, discipline, and respect in ways that others could see and follow, even if you didn't notice that they were noticing. You showed every day that leadership is not situational, it's consistent, it is visible, and it is earned. That combination of performance and discipline is not only impressive, but it speaks to the learners you have been in our classrooms. It speaks to the leaders you are and who you are becoming. The CU Boulder community is strong, and you helped make it stronger. You contributed to it, you represented it, and you leave it better than it was the day you arrived. So today you step forward into service, one as a pilot, two as naval flight officers, two surface warfare officers, one submarine officer, and 7 Marine Corps officers. These are distinct paths, but they share a common expectation. For you, the above and beyond is your baseline. For you, stepping up is simply the next step forward. And that responsibility is not abstract. It will show up in moments that will require clarity, in moments that will require discipline, and in moments that will require you to put others ahead of yourself. The foundation you have built here is what has prepared you for that. But you also know you will not carry this alone. The relationships you have made on this campus are lifelong, and as you continue to serve, those relationships will serve you well. You will also carry CU Boulder with you. This is a community defined by integrity, respect, accountability, and excellence. And you have lived those values here. Now you will bring them forward in service to your country and for the benefit of all. Leadership is defined by consistency, by judgment, and by the example you set for others. It is built over time, and it is tested when it matters most. You have shown that you understand that, and you are ready for what comes next. Our campus has a long history of preparing leaders for military service, and today that legacy is strengthened because of your place in it. I am extremely proud that each of you, and very honored to call you CU Boulder graduates, and I thank you for choosing CU Boulder and our Naval ROTC program for the place that you chose to advance your own career. We look forward to seeing you again when you return for a visit and to following the impact of your leadership around the globe for years ahead. So congratulations, enjoy the moment. Thank you for your service, and Go Buffs.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. I know you have a very busy weekend this weekend, and I appreciate you spending some time with us. I'd now like to introduce our guest of honor, Colonel Retired Rob Bodish, United States Marine Corps. Colonel Bodish is an armor officer by trade. He served in almost every billet in a tank battalion, to include platoon commander, company commander, and battalion commander. And he was also the commanding officer of the Combined Arms Training Center in Fuji, Japan. Most relevant to this crowd, though, he was my predecessor here as the commanding officer of the Naval ROTC unit at the University of Colorado. And today's commissioning class was his first freshman class when he was here. So it's an honor to have you come watch these guys cross the finish line, and I appreciate you joining us today.
Well, howdy, everybody. I'm in Texas now, so we actually say that word. It really is good to be back here in Boulder. Very special place. This is my first time back since I left here last summer and retired. And seeing this group right here to my left is definitely, hitting me in the, what do y'all call it? The feels, right? It's hitting me in the feels. I see a lot of familiar faces out here. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to mingle as much as I wanted to this morning. But I really do want to thank Chancellor Schwartz for being here, sir. Your presence definitely matters, and it speaks volumes of your leadership. I saw Dean Erica Randall, and I think she had to scoot out of here because she's got another. There she is. She's also very busy being the dean and having to also be present at all the other ROTC commissions that are going on today. I think I saw the Bosleys in here. Dr. Bill Doe, my good friend, Professor Dr. Doe, has been a great supporter of this unit for many years. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot of others. And I hope to maybe see you after this is over and have a little chat and catch up. I also want to say before I begin my remarks, I want to really acknowledge, I think, the secret sauce that makes CU's NROTC program the best in the nation. And that begins with the very small but dedicated staff led by Colonel Matt Zumo, XO Gary Pembleton, and the active duty staff, and the one GS civilian that remains, and our CU liaison, Jen. If I could have you all stand up and be recognized, please. Thank you, staff, for the part you have played in developing and guiding these young men and women along their journeys here at what my son thinks what NROTC really stands for, the Navy Recruiting Officers to Colorado. So I like that one better. I also want to acknowledge all the others that have guided these incredible young men and women through the highs and lows of NROTC, all the family members, moms and dads, significant others, pastors, teachers, coaches, professors, advisors, and peers that have supported these future leaders. And to the parents who I remember meeting almost this time a year ago when you dropped off your sons and daughters to us here at CU, a very special thank you for raising and supporting such dedicated young people that are so willing and capable of serving our nation in very, very complex times. The path to commissioning it's not easy. It absolutely requires the help and encouragement of all of us, and this will continue to be the case for the rest of these officers' careers in the Navy and the Marine Corps. Next, I want to congratulate our commissionees. Again, as I mentioned, this is my OG class, my 12 disciples. They were the smallest class, I think, in the history of our NROTC program. And a lot of that was because of COVID and how that affected all of the programs across the nation during that time. But I want to congratulate all of you. You may have been the smallest class in our history, but you also had the least attrition. And that is pretty incredible. And that's a credit to all of you and your leadership. So thank you very much and congratulations to you. So speaking of these commissionees, I want to reflect on their own journeys. All of them have endured, survived, and thrived these past 4 years. I remember telling all of them when they came in as that small class, and by the way, the classes behind them were probably 3 and 4 times larger than their class. And I remember telling them at that time they would have to be in short order, step up into leadership positions and lead those big classes behind them. Unlike most programs and unlike most years in ROTC, where really you kind of start hitting those big leadership billets in your junior year, they had to do that really as sophomores in their second years. So I told them that, and I think they've really accomplished a lot of big things. So instead of reacting with gloom, they embraced that challenge. They implemented a culture of positivity in our unit. And it was because of this small, lean, special class that some of our biggest classes came in behind them. That was all on them. That was all because of what they were doing and how it was being perceived across the nation. So under their leadership and under their watch, some of the most impressive accomplishments in this unit's history has happened. They started dominating the NROTC competitions. When I first got here, I think we were on a 12-year losing streak to the Army, and we fixed that, right? So I don't think they've lost since then. So that was an immediate mission they had to accomplish, and they did. They also had high academic success, although I just heard the chancellor say 3.3. When they were sophomores, it was 3.6. So I guess classes got tougher, right? They established the most active chapter of the Warfighting Society in the entire Marine Corps to include the fleet. That's pretty impressive. They have scaled our sea service ball, our sea trials, and our field exercises. And of course, they have vaulted our Colorado meet into the premier competition in the entire ROTC enterprise. And finally, I was just informed that you guys got our flag football championship back from the Army, right? I heard that too. So yeah, all very important, and we need to always be dominating. All right. So one of the things I can say, and I look at them, and some of them, even after just 1 year of missing them, they have changed. And moms and dads, I'm sure you have seen incredible change in the 4 years since you dropped them off here in Colorado. It's almost hard to believe seeing them so strong and confident and ready to lead, right? Because those 4 years went by pretty quick. To our commissionees, today marks a tectonic shift as you become ensigns and second lieutenants and the newest leaders for our nation's sailors and Marines. And as you all know by now, officership is a different kind of leadership. It is a full-on 24/7 commitment to your sailors and Marines, their families, your unit's mission, and the defense of our nation. Former chairman of the Joint Staff and Marine Corps 4-star General Joe Dunford was once asked what advice he would give to cadets on the verge of commissioning. And he replied, "It's no longer about you. To this point, someone cared about your GPA. Somebody cared about your level of physical fitness. Someone cared about your personal appearance. Someone cared about your accomplishments, your achievements. The day you have become commissioned, that is all in the sticker price of being a leader. Nobody cares. You get no credit anymore for any of those things. What you get credit for is the impact that you have on the young men and women that you'll be so fortunate enough to lead. That is actually what you get credit for." Pretty profound words. So going forward, how will you lead? Hopefully you will remember the class on empowered leadership that the XO let me give you in his course. I think it was your fall semester of your sophomore year. And for Cervantes, that was in my class last year. So I'm sure your memory's a little hazy. Your GPA definitely shows that, you dropped down a little bit, right? So I'm going to take this opportunity to reiterate some key themes of that class. First, you must be competent. You must strive to become the subject matter expert of the MOS that you'll be assigned in the specific position that you are given. And you heard the rundown by the chancellor of all the incredible billets and careers that these young men and women are about to get into. Your competence will inspire confidence, not just in yourself, but in the sailors and Marines you'll be lucky to lead. Secondly, you must make every effort to know and value your people deeply. Like you, every one of your sailors and Marines will be special. Most of them will be very young, 18 to 22 years old, but a few of them will be older. They'll be staff NCOs. They'll have much more life experience. They'll probably be married, sometimes multiple times, not at the same time. And some of them will have advanced degrees. All of them will constantly seek your advice, both professionally and personally. So what does that mean to you? You've got to get your act together because they're relying on you and they're going to model themselves after you, right? Some of them will have overt talents and skills, while others will have talents and skills that are hidden or maybe even unknown. Some of your sailors and Marines will make early impacts. Others will be late bloomers. All of them will be incredible as our nation is extremely fortunate to still field a professional all-volunteer force. It will be up to you to figure out how to find and leverage your sailors and Marines' talents to the maximum extent that benefits the unit, but also enables them to become even more empowered to succeed. Thirdly, you must also know your leaders. What are their communication preferences? What are their pet peeves? How do they prefer to receive information? What is your background, and how can you weave those factors in your own ways of connecting with them? They might be 2 to 3 generations ahead of you, kind of like your parents and I. They may not be able to relate to how you synthesize information and communicate, just as you may not be for the generations of sailors and Marines that follow you. Fourth, build an environment that promotes creativity, debate, diversity of thought, mutual trust, innovation, and initiative. And you can do this constantly by providing your intent, explaining the why of every mission, operation, and purpose of your organization, valuing every member of your team, and encouraging a bias for action in the absence of orders. This is how you will achieve empowered leadership and mission command, the essential ingredients that gives our Navy and Marine Corps the competitive edge we need to generate tempo against our adversaries and lead our nation to victory. I think I speak for everyone in this room when I say a lot will be riding on your shoulders. We are grateful that all of you have stood up and accepted this challenge. Whereas my career, Colonel Matt Zumo's career, started in the Cold War and culminated in long wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, your future will be marked by very complex, violent, uncertain, chaotic, and ambiguous operating environments, marked by kinetic operations against drug trafficking organizations in South America, war against Iran, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, the ever-present great power competition against the People's Republic of China, the quantum race, all of these things now contributing to the constantly changing character of war. You are ready, and we need you to be ready. My final guidance to all of you, never forget where you came from, never forget what it took for you to get here today, and never forget those that supported your path to commissioning. Always give back to those following behind you. Take care of your sailors and Marines, and thank you for stepping up and serving our nation. Congratulations again. God bless you. Semper Fidelis, and Go Buffs.
At this time, Colonel Zuma would like to present the gift to our guest of honor, Colonel Bonish, on behalf of the commissioning first class. Sir, thank you for your leadership, mentorship, and for joining us today as our guest of honor.
Trying not to knock everything over. We heard you like tanks. From all of the commissionees, thank you for your words. Thanks for being here today. He won't say it to all of you, but I will. Rob gave up a lot this weekend to be here with us today. He gave up going to see the Savannah Bananas last night, and he's missing out on some championship flag football games today. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Colonel Zuma will now administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jacob Williams,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
That I take this obligation
that I take this obligation
freely,
freely,
without mental reservation,
without mental reservation,
for purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
That I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the ceremonies for each commissionee in the spring 2026 class. Each commissionee will be pinned by close friends or family. The commissionee will then salute a member of lower rank and present them with a silver dollar to present a long tradition of paying back the lower ranking individual for their knowledge. Families, please feel free to move about to take pictures. Our first commissionee is Ensign Ella Chambers of St. Michael, Minnesota. Ensign Chambers graduated with a bachelor's degree in mathematics and a minor in leadership studies. Assisting is her father, Joel Chambers, and her mother, Lisa Chambers. Giving her first salute is her friend, United States Navy Midshipman Second Class Zolkolski. Ladies and gentlemen, Ensign Chambers. Our next commissionee is Ensign Robert Church of Burbank, California. Ensign Church graduated with a bachelor's degree in integrative physiology, assisting as his father, Chip Church, and his mother, Hiroko Beckers. Giving his first salute is his friend, United States Navy Midshipman Third Class Lang. Ladies and gentlemen, Ensign Church. Our next commissionee is Ensign Robert Hurley of Southborough, Massachusetts. Ensign Hurley graduated with a bachelor's degree in integrative physiology, assisting as his father, former United States Navy Lieutenant Matthew Hurley, and his mother, Kelly Hurley. Giving his first salute is former United States Marine Corps Sergeant Stephen Eric Skinner II. Ladies and gentlemen, Ensign Robert Hurley. Our next commissionee is Ensign Aidan Smith of Ashburn, Virginia. Ensign Smith graduated with a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering. Assisting him is his father, former United States Navy Lieutenant David Smith. Giving his first salute is former United States Marine Corps Lance Corporal James Gerald Madison IV.
Morning, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ensign Smith. Our next commissionee is Ensign Javon Wiltz of Monument, Colorado. Ensign Wiltz graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science. Assisting is his mother, Samantha Wiltz, his brother, First Lieutenant Tariq Wiltz, United States Air Force, and sister, Rhiannon Wiltz. Giving his first salute is his father, Chief Master Sergeant Cleveland Wiltz, United States Air Force, retired. Ladies and gentlemen, Ensign Wiltz. Our next commissionee is Second Lieutenant John Cervantes of Los Angeles, California. Second Lieutenant Cervantes graduated with a bachelor's degree in international affairs. Assisting is his wife, Laura Cervantes, and his friend, Mario Sanchez. Giving his first salute is former United States Army Specialist Fabian Franco. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Cervantes. Our next commissionee is Second Lieutenant Blaze Kozlik of Corpus Christi, Texas. Second Lieutenant Kozlik graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Assisting is his father, Lieutenant Commander Robert Kozlik, United States Navy, retired, and his mother, Sylvia Rodriguez. Giving his first salute is Gunnery Sergeant Connor O'Day, United States Marine Corps.
Morning, sir. Morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Kozlik. Our next commissionee is Second Lieutenant Brandon Culverhouse of Parker, Colorado. Second Lieutenant Culverhouse graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics. Assisting is his father, a lieutenant of the Denver Police Department, Ian Culverhouse, and his mother, Diane Carroll. Giving his first salute is Corporal Chance Leister, United States Marine Corps.
Morning, sir. Morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Culverhouse. Our next commissionee is Second Lieutenant Gavin Depew of Fairfax, Virginia. Second Lieutenant Depew graduated with a bachelor's degrees in political science and international affairs and a minor in leadership studies. Assisting is his father, Colonel Logan Depew, United States Marine Corps, retired, and his mother, Dale Depew. Giving his first salute is Staff Sergeant Colin Caprell, United States Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Depew. Our next commissionee is Second Lieutenant Jacob D'Souza of San Jose, California. Second Lieutenant D'Souza graduated with bachelor's degrees in business analytics and finance and with minors in Nordic studies and leadership studies. Assisting is his mother, Jennifer D'Souza, and his brother, Sergeant Joshua D'Souza, United States Marine Corps. Giving his first salute is his brother, Sergeant Joshua D'Souza, United States Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant D'Souza. Our next commissionee is Second Lieutenant Theodore Huttenhauer of Carbondale, Colorado. Second Lieutenant Huttenhauer graduated with a bachelor's degree in film production. Assisting is his father, Rich Huttenhauer, and his sister, Katie Huttenhauer. Giving his first salute is Corporal DeAndre Bush, United States Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Huttenhauer. Our last commissionee is Second Lieutenant Samson Skinner of St. Joseph, Missouri. Second Lieutenant Skinner graduated with a bachelor's degree in astrophysics. Assisting is his father, former United States Marine Corps Sergeant Stephen Skinner, and his mother, Stacy Skinner. Giving his first salute is his brother, former United States Marine Corps Sergeant Stephen Eric Skinner II.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Sergeant.
Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Skinner. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lieutenant Kathy Award honors Second Lieutenant Kathy, a University of Colorado Boulder graduate. Second Lieutenant Kathy was killed in action in Iraq in 2005 while leading Marines near Al-Karma. The recipient of the award possesses and portrays the leadership qualities and devotion to country that Second Lieutenant Kathy lived by on a daily basis. Here to present the Lieutenant Kathy Award on behalf of the Eternal Valor Foundation is Captain Brendan McBarish.
Good morning. I'm Captain McBarish. I'm the Marine Officer Instructor here, and I've had the pleasure of working with these fine junior officers for the past 3 years. And as Colonel Bodish mentioned, this is our smallest class. And, you know, since they've gotten here, there's been this discussion as the classes continue to grow in size after them about quality versus quantity. And, you know, I see now after Colonel Bodish pointed out, you know, we're not talking quality of academics apparently, but a lot of talk about how calculus has somehow gotten harder. In their defense, I would not be helping that GPA average out if I was up there sitting with them. So, but no, they're, you know, when we talk about that, I think what they didn't realize at the time is the influence and impact that they would have on the classes behind them. And so that's really what this award is about the legacy of this unit and the leaders that come out of it, like Second Lieutenant Kathy. And all of you fine gentlemen should realize before we present the award that all of the second lieutenants that are going to be commissioning over the next 3 years, you know, your leadership here at the unit as seniors has impacted them, it's impacted the Marine Corps, and it's going to impact the Marines that they go on to lead. So with that, read a little bit about Second Lieutenant James Cathy. James Cathy enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in February 1998. Shortly upon graduating from Reno High School in Reno, Nevada. As an enlisted infantryman, Cathy deployed twice to Okinawa, Japan, and once to East Timor as a member of the 3rd Marine Division. Cathy attained the rank of sergeant and was elected as the 3rd Marine Division Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year. At the end of his initial enlistment, Sergeant Cathy was selected for the Marine Enlisted Commissioning Education Program, or MESEP, and reported to the University of Colorado at Boulder to begin his college education. In only 3 years' time, Sergeant Cathy graduated with honors from the University of Colorado at Boulder and received a commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. Shortly thereafter, he reported to the basic school in Quantico, Virginia for initial officer training. While at the basic school, Second Lieutenant Cathy earned the military occupational specialty of infantry officer and reported to infantry officer course 2 TAC 5. Upon successful completion of IOC 2 TAC 5, Second Lieutenant Cathy reported to 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marine Regiment, 2nd Marine Division, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Second Lieutenant Cathy joined Gulf Company as a rifle platoon commander and soon began pre-deployment training in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Within 5 months of checking in, Second Lieutenant Cathy deployed with his Marines to Al Anbar Province, Iraq. Second Lieutenant Cathy was struck and killed by an improvised explosive device while conducting a dismounted patrol near Al-Qamar, Iraq on August 21st, 2005. At the time of his death, Second Lieutenant Cathy's wife, Catherine, was 4 months pregnant. On December 22nd, 2005, she gave birth to a son and named him James Cathy Jr. Second Lieutenant Cathy is interred at North Nevada Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Fernley, Nevada. He was posthumously awarded the Bronze Star Medal with Combat Distinguishing Device for his actions during Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Second Lieutenant James Cathy Leadership Award will be given annually to a newly commissioned Marine Corps Second Lieutenant from the University of Colorado Naval ROTC. The recipient of the award must possess and portray the leadership qualities and devotion to country that Second Lieutenant Cathy lived by on a daily basis. The recipient of the award will be voted on by the Board of Staff members from the University of Colorado Naval ROTC Department and will be awarded a Marine Corps Mamluk Sword and Frame Certificate. Annually, the Eternal Valor Foundation will provide this award to the top graduate of the Marine class. So that is the legacy that our leaders here that are about to leave and take on the next challenge need to live and work up to. And I believe that all of our Marines here are deserving and ready to take on that task, walk the line, and operate in the near future in an ambiguous environment as Second Lieutenant James Cathy did. With that, we would like to present this award to Second Lieutenant Gavin Depew. Walt Morgan will now present the Arleigh Burke Award given to the Outstanding Navy Midshipman or Officer Candidate in their year group.
This is the best day every year. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to the commissionees specifically for raising your right hand and taking an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I truly believe with all of my heart that our Constitution is worth defending. The Admiral Arleigh Burke Leadership Award and the associated sword is given to the outstanding Navy option midshipman or officer candidate in any given commissioning class. My friend Chris Perrion conceived of this award when he was attending a CU NROTC commissioning ceremony, just like you are, to watch his son get commissioned. And he sat in the audience wondering, why isn't Arleigh Burke mentioned at all in this ceremony? Arleigh Burke is one of our greatest naval leaders, and Arleigh Burke is a consequential native of the city of Boulder. Like Arleigh Burke, my friend Chris Perrion was a graduate of the United States Naval Academy, and like Arleigh Burke, Chris was a destroyerman. So he created this award. My wife Dana and I are delighted to sponsor the award this year, not only to honor excellence, but also so that the spirit of Arleigh Burke can preside over the ceremony. Arleigh Burke was born in 1901 to immigrant parents. And as I mentioned, He's from Boulder. He grew up on a farm just a little bit east of here. You can still see his childhood home. It's near the intersection of Baseline and Foothills. Arleigh Burke attended Boulder High School and then accepted an appointment to the United States Naval Academy. I can only assume that his first choice was CU, and he went with his backup school. But it all worked out because in 1959, dear old CU awarded Arleigh Burke with an honorary doctorate. During World War II, Arleigh Burke distinguished himself and emerged as one of the great leaders in U.S. naval history, and certainly our greatest destroyerman. After World War II, he became our longest serving and most consequential Chief of Naval Operations, which is the most senior Navy officer in the United States. During that time, he modernized our fleet and turned it into the greatest naval force that the world had ever seen. And that's the Navy that we have inherited. And there's an entire class of ships named after Arleigh Burke, and they are destroyers, of course. So there's another connection that I'd like to share with you this morning that's related to where we are right now, because we are sitting in the Byron White Club. Now, many of you know that Byron White was a graduate of the University of Colorado. He was a Rhodes Scholar. He was the runner-up to the Heisman Trophy and the highest paid NFL player in his day, and a United States Supreme Court Justice. You might not know that he was also a naval officer and a shipmate of Arleigh Burke's. When Arleigh Burke was the commanding officer of Destroyer Squadron 23, Byron White was his intelligence officer, and they became lifelong friends. When Arleigh Burke passed in 1996, Byron White was one of his pallbearers. And when the Arleigh Burke Memorial was dedicated right here in Boulder in 2001, Byron White insisted on attending, even though he was in poor health and in his final year of life. So thank you so much for indulging me a little bit of Boulder history and a little bit of Navy history on a Sunday morning. Today, I am delighted to present the Admiral Arleigh Burke Leadership Award and the associated sword to the newly minted naval officer, Ensign Ella Chambers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished graduate will be presented by Colonel Zumo.
So before I present the distinguished graduate, I'm going to go back to that last award in case you were wondering who Walt was and why he was up here. I think we owe him that. So he's a retired naval officer, class of 1993 at CU Boulder, and then came back to retire here as the XO from 15 to 18. Did I get that right? 12 to 16, a little off. But naval aviator, CU alum, and then retired here as the XO, still lives in the Boulder area, still contributes to the unit. So, Walt, we appreciate all you do for all of our students, both in terms of leadership development and just sponsoring them and supporting their efforts. So thank you very much. So now, the final award of the day is the Chief of Naval Operations Distinguished Midshipman Graduate Award for having met the highest standards of leadership, academic excellence, and military performance. And I will tell you before handing it out, all of the commissionees that you see before you have done that. They have demonstrated exceptionally high leadership, academic excellence, and as well as exceptional military performance. But we had to pick one as the distinguished graduate. So it's my honor, Ensign Aiden Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of Anchors Aweigh, followed by the Marines hymn.
Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Spring 2026 Commissioning Class, Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, University of Colorado.